On this day in history, 1932, Radio City Music Hall opened its palatial doors to the masses for the very first time. Since then, more than 300 million people have gone to Radio City to enjoy movies, stage shows, concerts, and special events. Fun fact, Radio City Music Hall is the largest indoor theater in the world. Now, the Radio City Music Hall Christmas Spectacular, which debuted in 1933, draws more than 1 million people annually. The show features the High-Kicking Rockettes, a precision dance troupe that has been a holiday staple. Some might say it's not the holiday season until you see the Rockettes. I disagree. It's not really the holiday season until you push yourself to the brink of alcoholism and diabetes. Live from Wattpad Nation, it's the Corner Booth, your weekly broadcast where we talk about all things centered around the big orange W. First of all, I'm very sorry if you're hearing a delay. We're hearing it too. We're struggling with it. It sucks. But we are very, very happy that you're spending part of your holiday weekend with us. And with 2015 coming to a close, our 37th episode is all going to be about reflecting on this past year and sharing what's to come. And I have an amazing panel for you tonight with Miss Rita Kovac, Miss Marianne Avalon, and Miss Lindsay Lippincott. And to kick this off, I found this amazing hashtag on Twitter, and I'm hoping that you can too. Yeah, sorry, Jody. I'm looking at this live chat as well. Hello, Jody and Ricky. We're hearing the echo, and it's terrible. So hopefully it'll wean itself out, and we'll get there sooner or later with this broadcast because it is annoying. But if you have seen this hashtag, it's hashtag explain a film plot badly. So hopefully y'all have seen this. Give me 1 second to pull this up. The delay is throwing me off really bad. You guys are going to have fun with this when you guys start talking. It's awesome. Okay, so the first one. And ladies, you can take a stab at this, and anybody that's watching, hopefully you guys will take a stab at these two. So here's a film plot explained badly. Drug-addicted girl takes advantage of a mentally challenged boy for 3 decades. It's actually Forrest Gump.
Oh.
So now you kind of get it. Yeah, these are kind of abrasive and borderline terrible. But I had a lot of fun with these over the weekend. I hope that you're going to have fun with them too. So here's another one. An elderly man abducts a young, overweight Asian boy to replace his dead wife.
Up.
Yeah. Y'all got that really fast. That's awesome. All right, here we go.
That's when the boy stows away.
A movie about how the world will end 3 years ago.
2012.
Yeah, that's good. Bullied kid with a birth defect proves people are only nice to you when they need something. For the holiday season, I put that one in there. That's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
I did not think of that one.
Yeah. It's a terrible synopsis, right? A love triangle between an 18-year-old girl, a 100-year-old guy, and a dog.
Twilight.
Yeah! Very nice. Okay, I think this one is one of my favorites. Group spends 9 hours returning jewelry.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah!
Good one.
Oh, that just makes me laugh. And then here's the last one that I got for you. Deadbeat dad tries to get his son to take over the family business. It's actually Star Wars. Just to let you know. So if y'all have any other terrible synopsis for movies, please use our hashtag on Twitter, TCBWatt, and let us know. There was also a couple of other ones that really made me laugh. It was boy spends 7 years being a third wheel. It's a
Harry
Harry Potter. Yeah. I got a little humor out of that. So, anyways, we hope that you're enjoying your holiday season as well. And as we close 2015, we are going to give you our cream or sugar shout-outs for the very last part of this year. And the way that it works, if you've never seen this before, this particular broadcast, we highlight the cream, a relatively unknown Wattpadder who's risen to the surface, or at least the panel's library, or an established Wattpadder. They just want to show some love, give them some sugar. I am going to start with Miss Lindsay Lippincott.
All right. Let's see here. I have, and I totally just got rid of it. I have CKJ664. That's her moniker on Wattpad. And I am picking her because I haven't read any of her stuff yet, but she's been a super awesome reader for me on one of my profiles since basically when I started writing on that one. But she also has a lot of works of her own, and a lot of them are humor-based. The one that I wanted to shout out was the types of Wattpad users, which I'm just going to read like the little description at the beginning, which is, warning, this contains some hurtful opinions on the types of Wattpad users. Read at your own risk. So within, she kind of, with her time on Wattpad, has, as most people have, discovered different types of Wattpad users, and she kind of puts them in there, or puts them in here and describes them and has her own little 2 cents about them. And so it's really great. And she has a bunch of other stuff to check out on there. A lot of them are humor-based, like I said.
We need to get more humor writers. Like I think they're so great. It's not something that's easily done, and I think they get short sold a lot. Writing a really, really great narrative is just as difficult as writing a punchline. So, like, congrats to anybody who's writing humor out there. Marianne, who do you got for us?
So me is Sugar. The name is Invisible Doorcat. Rather curious name. I haven't seen much of her on Wattpad lately, but she's been on it for 4 years. But I think she's earned a sugar from you because she's actually, I mentioned her, not directly in a previous broadcast, because she's the one who introduced me to Wattpad. And in doing that, in a way, participated to leading me to where I am now. So I think that's praise from my part. She's nice. She's well, as I said, she was a pen pal for a friend of mine, the sister of a friend of mine, and she told me we both hit it off because she loved to write me. And she mentioned this site that I would soon discover to be Wattpad, and from then we just sort of became friends in a way, I suppose.
Yeah, it's great to have those kind of friendships just kind of come out of nowhere. Yeah. I love her moniker. Her moniker is amazing. The Invisible Doorcat.
What would I tell you?
That makes me smile. That's awesome. Rita, who do you have for us?
Okay, so today I wanted to give a shout out to Phil Stamper. On Wattpad, he goes by Stampep K, and his book Crowded. And this is a dystopian adventure about twins who live in a futuristic megacity slum of New York, and it's just about their adventures. And I have to admit, I only read chapter 1 so far, but I was drawn to it because the premise in its very base is very similar to something that I started writing about 2 years ago, except our settings are very different. But I'm very curious as to see where he takes his story and then how it's different from how I envisioned mine. So the writing is excellent. Phil actually works in publishing, and so he sees both sides of this industry, and he seems like he's a very good writer. So I would highly recommend checking out Crowded.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Rita. And we are going to slip on over to the entree. It's just the part of the broadcast that's the meat of our discussion for the evening. And we have just kind of a nice little look back, kind of looking into the future at the same time, figuring out what we're doing now. It's just a really, really great way for us to wrap up 2015. So I'm going to start in that same order, start with Lindsay, go on to Marianne, and then end with Rita. Question number 1. Can you believe it? 2016 is just around the corner. But before we gaze into the future, let's look back on 2015. Lindsay, what have you done with your year?
With my year, let's see here. I have finished 4 books that I've been writing. Some of them I started as well. Let's see here. I got a new job. I was accepted to participate as part of the marching band for the D-Day ceremonies in Normandy, France this summer, so that'll be pretty awesome. So yeah, a lot of it has been writing and work-based, I guess.
You know what? That's pretty much the life of a writer, you know?
Yeah.
You're doing
I got a story featured, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, always awesome. Come on. Marion, what about you?
So I have been doing a lot of writing. Funny thing for a writer. Namely, I worked on my 4 element series. I finished the drafts for books 2 and 3. I recently made a big decision for my Harry Potter fan fiction, which I'm thinking I'm probably going to regret later, but oh well.
Don't think pessimistically. Have some optimism. You're gonna have it. It's important.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm quite proud because I finished the first draft anyway. So lots of work to do. On my Afterlife series, the 3 books are written. I just need to edit them. And I got my query letter into shape. Hopefully, it's as good as it can be. I'll probably try and polish it some more.
Query letters. Just that phrase, it just scares me. Oh man.
They are scary.
It sounds really, really intimidating. Well, that's awesome, man. Rita, what about you?
Oh my goodness. So 2015 has been such an amazing year for me. I actually had to make a list. I worked on multiple projects, which I never even dreamed of doing a year ago. There was this little project called the Corner Booth. I don't know if you've heard of it, but I'm very proud of being a part of it even now where I have a little less time than before, but this is one of the highlights definitely of 2015 for me. Specifically writing-wise, in the spring I wrote a Gothic horror. Actually, I started it almost a year ago, so right after Christmas 2014, I started my Gothic horror, The Keepers, which I finished in the spring. And this ultimately led to a commission in September from Legendary Pictures for Guillermo del Toro's movie Crimson Peak. So I wrote a 15,000-word short called If These Walls Could Talk, which is now in the movie's profile, so that was awesome. And somehow 2015 actually turned out to be the year of horror for me because I also got another short story commission for the Gallows movie from Warner Brothers in July. And that's called Outcast, and that's on my profile. So, that was very horror-centric in 2015.
But those are big milestones, like huge milestones.
Absolutely.
Can you explain exactly how you went about doing that for people that don't know? How you were able to get
a commission?
into the position? Yeah.
You somehow come to the attention of the Wattpad staff who handle that part of the business, and they just contacted me. I just got, for one of them, I got a private message through Wattpad. The other one, they just emailed me. They do have my email contact information because I've been corresponding with them on other things over the past 2 years. So they just contacted me and said, hey, we have this client, and they think that, they liked what you wrote, and they think that you'd be a good fit for their campaign. And they just give you the parameters, and if you say yes, then you just write however long. One was 5,000 words, the other one was 15,000, and they have a set schedule. So they give you all the information and the deadlines, and you just send it to them, and they post it, and it's awesome. It's a great way to get publicity and also kind of practice your writing when you have a specific prompt. So they actually do a lot of these, and they target writers who already have something out there in that specific genre or kind of mood or feel. So if the movie is like a romance or a romantic comedy, they'll look at people who've written in that area.
It sounds like one of those experiences that would be a huge windfall. I mean, all of a sudden you're just getting this message that I don't know. It seems like an overwhelming experience.
It's a huge.
I know for the Gallows one. Yeah, for the Gallows one, it was a little bit different because I think they sent out the message to quite a few different people, and then they picked like the top 10 story ideas. So you pitched an idea to them, and they looked through all the different ideas, and they picked the top 10 stories, like the top 10 ideas, and then you created the story for them. Right. So, yeah.
Oh man, was it like a really, really big competition for these kind of I don't know.
I don't know. They didn't say. They don't really. I don't think they don't really advertise them out as much. But at least when I got the message, they didn't say how many people they were sending them to. They just said that they were going to select the top 10 ideas that were submitted to them, and then those top 10 would go on to write. And Rita was selected. I was selected. Amber K. Bryant was one of those.
Just some power hitters. I guess if you want to be commissioned, just be a writing badass like anybody on this panel.
Yeah,
and you should be fine.
Yeah, you know.
Well, I guess I'm not a writing badass then.
Yeah. No, it's cool.
2016, Marion. 2016.
Yeah, 2016. Yeah. It's coming.
Yeah, I mean, I know a couple of like really big power hitters on Wattpad who have just recently got asked to do commissions, and they were like, "Why not me? Why not me?" It's sometimes it's just like the perfect project hasn't come along yet. Maybe they have something in mind. They know who they're planning on working with, and they're saving you. So don't fret. It'll come.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very wise words of advice. Just stay calm. Just keep writing. You'll be fine. Lindsay. What happened?
I said I should get one of those T-shirts with "Keep calm and keep writing."
Oh yeah, absolutely, with a little crown and everything. Yeah. Lucy Rhodes was asking about Normandy. Lindsay, she was wondering how your fundraising is going.
Fundraising, it's going kind of slow, but I made my first $1,000 payment, and I have another one coming up in February. But it's coming along. Work is helping out with that. Christmas helped out a bit.
You gotta do what you gotta do. Anytime you get money for Christmas, like I said, we were talking about that earlier. Money for Christmas is a great, great gift. Okay, let's skip on over to question number 2. The Corner Booth's very first episode had the tagline "Start, Stop, Continue." What's something you definitely want to start? Stop, continue. Let's go through this one by one. Miss Lindsay.
What do I want to start? I want to figure out how to start this next writing project that I need to get going by January 1st. I want to stop starting new things before I finish something else.
Everybody's guilty of that. Everybody's guilty of that.
And then I want to continue with everything that I'm doing so that I can hopefully get it wrapped up eventually. Right now,
my name's Lindsay Lippincott. I just want to make it to 2017. That's the goal.
Exactly. At this rate, I'm up to here with everything that I'm doing. So I have probably 5 started unfinished projects right now. So yeah.
Gotta stop having ideas. Just stop thinking.
I know. I just need to turn it off.
Take your thinking cap off.
Yeah, easier said than done. Marion, let's put you in the hot seat. What do you want to start, stop, and continue?
I want to start editing. I've got lots to do.
Oh, jeez. I don't even know where to begin with that. Editing seems like one of the worst processes in the world.
I want to stop doubting myself, but that's of course not the easy thing to do.
Just keep writing more. You're gonna do it less and less. You know.
Well, that's what I want to continue writing.
Hey, I'll take it. That's good. What about you, Miss Rita?
All right, so in 2016, I would like to start exploring other ways to get my existing writing to new audiences. I've already taken down my beloved series from Wattpad because I do have plans for it that I can't share quite yet, but hopefully that will be coming soon. I want to stop procrastinating on half-finished projects, which seems to be a universal theme here.
We need to start a club.
Yeah, so I do have one specifically that it's been on hold for 2 years. It's my young adult sci-fi adventure called Vanguard, and I would like to get back to that. I'm not sure what the ultimate home for that will be, but I just want to have that done. And I also want to continue being part of Wattpad, whether through more commissions, the corner booth. I also had the opportunity to go to the Wattpad convention in London earlier this month.
Everybody's
Next year.
That was totally awesome. I would love to go again, hopefully nearer to home this time. Although, I'd probably, go to some exotic place if it was held there. It was so much fun. 130 people who are on Wattpad, who love Wattpad.
Mm-hmm.
And, the discussions and the panels were great. It was just an awesome afternoon. And, meeting people who you only interact with online, who you may see, on the corner booth. A couple of them have been on here or just chatting, and Facebook, direct messages, whatever. It's surreal. It's like the first thing was like, these people are real, So I would love to continue things like that.
Yeah, well, it just seems like an amazing, these are opportunities that are presenting themselves to you right in 2015, Rita. You served on the panel at LonCon, right?
Yes, I actually went. I just wanted to be part of the audience, and then...
and then you got pulled up on stage like an Aerosmith concert.
No, well, Vic James sent out the schedule 3 weeks before, after she found out that I had bought my tickets, and there I was on the first panel. But it was awesome. I mean, I was on with
so cool.
Molly Knight and Josie DeMuth, and just talking about how to navigate Wattpad, how to get more readers, and what you can do to be successful. It was awesome. I mean, although with those ladies and Amelia, who's also a Wattpad ambassador and a writer. I mean, they've had so much success. And I mean, Molly has 150,000 followers. I mean, how can you compete with that? But and they're also humble and nice and just great things to say. It was awesome.
Yeah. Oh, it always. I mean, I've heard about 2 of the LonCons now, and both of them they just exceeded expectations over and over and over. So yeah, absolutely. There's this one thing that Jody Petrella said for Start, Stop, Continue. She said, start posting on Wattpad, stop checking social media every 20 minutes, and continue dreaming. That's amazing. And we definitely support you, Jody. We hope that, you start, stop, and continue all the way through 2015. Carl O'Connor actually loves editing. Okay, I got to ask this question because it's something that I loathe doing. Because it seems like I would be moving around a comma or a conjunction or something like that, a pronoun, something just really, really meticulous, and that doesn't really matter. And I don't know, that's where I kind of get lost in the editing process because I guess it's over-editing. Lindsay, how do you feel about the editing process? I mean, I know you've had to do it several times. I know you're on mute right now.
Yeah. I feel like I'm constantly in the editing phase because even though I'm writing new things, I'm also still editing old things. And it's one of those things where I don't pay as much attention to the smaller stuff. I go for the overall stuff. So at least this is what I've been doing so far because I'm trying to make sure that my overall story is better. I mean, I may get down to the nitty-gritty of things eventually, but it's just kind of like I basically read my story when I wrote it the first time, and then I'm reading it again as I'm going over and editing. So it's kind of like I might need to set it off to the side so that I can give my brain a break from reading it again. But yeah, I focus more on the bigger things. So making sure that my setting is coming in well, that the characters seem relatable, and that their character is consistent while also developing. so that they're changing, but like they're not changing like completely from like their who they would be personally. So yeah, I just make sure about, or I focus on the overall how it's coming across to the audience before I go into the deeper things.
No, that's good. Zoom out, zoom in. Yeah, I agree with the concept.
Yeah.
That's good. It's good. Marion, I'm just going to adjust the question a little bit, but do you put a lot of time, or how much time do you put in between finishing your first draft and then making revisions, or do you go right into it?
Usually I'll give it a little of like a few days to sort of relax my brain a bit.
Sure.
But usually I do tend to, well, it depends, because sometimes I'll go just a few days after. Sometimes I'll start on something else, finish that, try and finish that, and then go back to the first thing. Like when I finished the third book of the Afterlife series, I went to the next book of the Four Elements series, and now that's finished. I started on something else and trying to finish that. I tend to try and finish something before I go back to something else, but I don't always manage.
And Rita, just kind of approaching this from a different angle, but how do you battle with the hangover that you get, not necessarily just writing a scene or completing a book, but writing a really pivotal scene and a chapter, and well, that's how you get a hangover, a writing hangover. You know, it's just you feel so exhausted at the end of it, and how do you pick yourself up? And then going through the revision and the editing process, it seems like you could just beat your head up against the wall.
Well, you know, I'm a very slow writer, so even if I do have like a really heavy scene that may be, you know, very emotional and complicated and long, it may take me 2 weeks to write it. So I don't get that, oomph, you know, that like knockout feeling that someone who can write 5,000 words in one sitting gets. So I kind of take the pain in little chunks. So you know that I don't think I experience it. I drag it out, which definitely isn't a better option, but it's just the way I operate. So yeah.
Do you find yourself with a lot of time with it? I mean, do you spend more time editing than writing?
Yes, I do edit as I go along. Again, not ideal, but it's my process. And the good thing I see about it is, though, that it gives me more time to think, and I come up with the little details that kind of, you know, like make the scene more interesting, and kind of flesh it out then. Yeah, that's my process.
Oh, you know what? If it works for you, it's definitely working with all the results. So yeah. Okay, we're going to get into the future of these panelists. What are your plans for 2016, Lindsay?
2016. I am going into 2016 trying out a new platform that's going to be launching called Radish, which I believe is going to be a mobile app. I'm not sure if it's going to have a website as well, but it's going to. I'm not entirely sure what it's going to be yet, because I mean, I guess when it starts up, it'll find its own thing and grow into what it is. But it's going to be another writing platform where people can. It'll essentially be to help pay writers as well. So it's kind of like a pay-as-you-go, where you can get sneak peeks at things for like a few cents a chapter or for a book or whatever. So I'm going to be testing that one out. I'm going to be chugging along with my stories that I currently have, and I'm going to try starting new things before I finish old ones.
Do you find that frustrating when you have a bunch of balls in the air, like as far as your books go? I mean, I know that I think all three of you ladies do multiple stories at the same time, and that just seems crazy.
I'm currently working on. I have one. I'm currently working on 4 or 5 different things at the same time.
I would get everything
Oh.
confused. Like one of the characters from the other book would make a cameo, and it would be.
I did do that once where I mixed up the male characters. I accidentally put one from one book in, and someone was like,
I tend to do
who is
that as well.
this? I've
Yeah, I
only
did
done
that
it
one.
once, thank goodness.
Yeah, did you catch it, or did somebody call you out on it?
Someone else called me, they're like, who is this character? I was like,
Oh,
oh,
no! Oh,
No, I
man,
got
that's the worst feeling in the world.
and it was because it came, the only reason why it happened is because it came after a time where I had done a complete edit of an entire book, and I did the entire I had to do the entire thing in one day. So I did like a quick one,
Yeah.
and so that character was stuck in my head. So when I went to write the other one to actually write new stuff, then it went in there, and I was like, crap, yep, my bad.
See, I wouldn't have done it with one character. I would have done it with like half the cast or something. It would have been truly, truly terrible. All right, Miss Marion, what are your plans for 2016?
Well, edit the Afterlife series. If I can, also edit the Four Elements series, or the books that I finished, because that isn't quite done yet. Finally finish that Afterlife spin-off I've been planning. And hopefully, fingers crossed. So if it's not next year, hopefully it'll be the next year after. And, well, hoping it will happen. Get a representation or publishing deal or something like that. Or even a commission.
Are you aiming for any label in particular?
No, not in particular. Not picky.
Just somebody that will pay you for your words. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good, right? Yeah,
Or someone who likes my work enough to.
So, okay, Rita, 2015, amazing year. What are you going to do to make 2016 even better?
Well, in 2016, my big news that a lot of you already know is that I won this little contest on Wattpad back in late October. That was through the XOXO Connects profile. This is associated with the XOXO After Dark website, which is a community site for romance and women's fiction, primarily from Simon & Schuster, one of the big 5 publishers, but it also includes other publishers as well. And the contest was for a 2,000-word one-shot inspired by the theme of confessions. Anna Todd announced the winner, and within 2 weeks, I was talking to 2 awesome ladies from Pocket Star Books in New York who are now my editors, which means that as part of this prize, Pocket Star will publish a full-length book from me. So I am working on that for the first half of 2016. So that's my focus, and I'm really excited, and I can't wait to kind of give you more information about that when I can.
Yeah, absolutely, Rita. Anything that you got from just news and breaks and things that you come across as you go through the process, we definitely want to know about it, because it is an amazing and very unique kind of experience. I don't see a lot of people coding this story.
It really is, and I was so lucky, Nat, because I only found out about this contest 2 days before the deadline, and it was only open for a week or 10 days.
Wow.
They really didn't have too much publicity for it. At least I kind of missed it, and I found out about it through a tweet that Jody Petrella, who is a very loyal viewer of the Corner Booth,
Yes,
she tweeted the link and wrote something like, "Oh, I wish I had more time to enter this." And so I clicked on it. I'm like, what the heck is this? And I saw 2 days. Oh, I don't know. Well, it's only 2,000 words. What the heck? I'll try it, because it kind of seemed fun, like confessions, and the funny thing is that I didn't know what to write for it, so I asked my husband, and he gave me the stupidest idea ever. I'm like, absolutely not, no way. And he still teases me about it. I'm like, see, that's a good thing I didn't go with what you said, and I'm not going to reveal it because it's so embarrassing. But yeah, and all it was is publishing contract, and I thought, well, they'll publish this 2,000-word short in some kind of online anthology. They'll slap it up there, get a little exposure, whatever. So when these women called me, we arranged a time. I gave them my number. They called me, and they kept referring to publishing my book. Like, what? 2,000 words isn't a book. So it finally dawned on me, like, oh my God, this is real. It really is a publishing contract. So, they gave me the option of either expanding the story, which I had written for the contest, and I really didn't want to do that because it really was a one-shot. Now, I didn't fall in love with these characters, and they did whatever they needed to do. And actually, the story's on my profile if anyone wants to check it out. I also pitched them a couple of books I already had, but it didn't really fit into the Pocket Star line because they're a little bit more romance focused. And then I told them about this work in progress, which I had already been thinking of, and they loved it. They had me write up a full outline for it, and that's what we're working with right now.
That's awesome, Rita. Seriously, really, really cool stuff. Something that I kind of want to approach the entire panel with is and I know that all of you write phenomenally well in multiple genres. What do you do to shift gears? Because all of the genres, I know that you have your own unique voice, and there's certain structures that you kind of play around with, but when you guys bounce from genre to genre, I know that something changes within the process. If there was one thing that stood out, what would it be? Marianne, I'm actually going to start with you. Does that make sense? Because I know that you go from fan fiction, and then you'll dabble over in another genre, and then you'll go over to something that might not even be tangent to what you're doing.
But, you mean what do we most focus on when we switch genres? Or...
Well, what do you do to prepare yourself to kind of switch gears and, like, let's say that you're writing in fan fiction, and then you come to a break or you come to the end, and then you want to try something in science fiction or in vampire or something. How do you kind of prepare yourself to do that?
I would say focus. Well, check what makes the genre, if you see what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Make them your own.
Do you draw inspiration from anybody?
Sometimes. Sometimes sometimes it's a book I read, sometimes it's a picture I saw, sometimes it's an ad I saw. It can come from all kinds of places.
Oh, that's great. Really great. Lindsay, what about you?
The biggest, the top two things for me that really helped me switch gears is listening to music and watching movies. So if I'm writing more of like an action-y thing, I'll listen to like some of like maybe Pirates of the Caribbean music or like from that movie, or I'll listen to that, or and then if I'm gonna like try and do a romance or something, maybe I'll try and watch like a sappy romance movie to try and switch my gears over, and I'll change the type of music that I listen to. So it's just for me, like what's going on out here is really like what shifts the way that I write and for the genres and everything on the page. So those are the two that I really do.
Man, I really want to know if, like, some way, if you're listening to the music that you were listening to at the time, if it lines up, like I don't know, like, but you hear about people doing stuff with Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon, and they listen to it backwards and see if it lines up in certain places. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Rita, what about you? How do you shift gears?
I think one of the biggest differences for me between writing certain genres is the level of research that I need to do or want to do. Like with the Keepers, with the Keepers, it's gothic horror, but it's set in like the late 19th century and the Victorian age, and I really know a lot about that because I studied it for my graduate work, and so. With that, I already had some past knowledge and inspiration. You know, I love Dracula, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, all that stuff. You know, Dark and Stormy Night type of thing. So I didn't have to do as much research. It just kind of flowed, so I was able to write that faster. But something that, with my sci-fi, where I had to look up ways that submarines work, so that I kind of like get part of that right. That kind of interrupts the writing process a little more, but then again, it makes it more interesting. And with things that are a little more fantasy and sci-fi, you can make up your own stuff too and just say, well, it's my world, so I can do whatever. I think that's a big defining factor in what is different with genres.
That's great. I mean, like I said, I know that the three of you write in multiple genres. I think it's great that you do. I don't know how I would go about, all right, this is the mindset for this, and I'm going to write until I get here, and now I'm done with that, and now I'm going to write this way, and I don't know. It's a lot of micromanaging on my part. All right, we're going to scoot on over to Pass These Salts. It is just a little way that we add flavor to these broadcasts, and it's just a way to give these panelists 140 characters for an honest observation, opinion, quote, or factoid. And after sharing theirs on this broadcast, they're going to use our hashtag TCBWatt on Twitter. Please like them, favorite them, retweet them. They'll love it when you dig. Marianne, what do you got?
Mine is words are powerful engines. Words are dangerous. When used without consideration, they can cause irremediable damage in ways physical never could. Use them wisely.
I like it. Thank you, Marianne. Lindsay.
So I completely forgot about this. Apparently, I've just been out of practice for way too long.
Yeah, God, man. It's all that college learning.
So I just made one up on the spot. So let's see here. Be confident in what you do, even your mistakes.
I like that. Rita?
Okay, so this isn't mine. I wanted to say something to get you guys into 2016 and lead you on your way. And it says, take a chance. You never know how perfect something might turn out to be.
Love it. It's great. I do want to, and actually this panel is going to be the first ones to know this. We have our own little secret clubhouse thing on Facebook, and we all get together and we talk about, this is what's happening this week and so on and so forth. But one thing that I wanted to try to do during 2016 is I want to give these panelists a way to do something creative that hopefully we'll have maybe one or two share it on a broadcast in 2016. But it's going to be just a little writing exercise called Dear 15-Year-Old Me. And it'll just be these panelists sharing, hopefully some really great stuff, maybe not so great stuff about what's happened, and telling it to their 15-year-old self. And I've done this exercise before. It's highly encouraging. It builds a lot of self-confidence, and they're really, really fun to share. So as we start doing that, I hope that we'll see your Dear 15-Year-Old Me's on our forum page, or even if you just have little snippets, if you want to tweet them out to us. We'll start that next episode, episode 38. That'll happen in 2016. I can't believe it. Also, I was trolling the threads just to find something kind of out there for just a way to close these broadcasts, and I think I found a really, really great way to do it. So, like I said, trolling the forums. There's this one thread. It's called Pet Peeves on Wattpad, and so this guy, his name's @BG_Davies, and he goes off about, I'll just read this. There is an epidemic of characters biting their bottom lip all the time. It is unhealthy and dangerous. It is habit-forming and can leave permanent scars, especially on the young, innocent heroines of Wattpadia. We need to raise awareness of this issue among writers and readers. Stop the lip biting. Ban the bite. And I think it goes on for like 2 more paragraphs, but that tickled me all over. So if you see something funny in the threads or just something outrageous, I'd really, really love to see it. We also want to let you know that Wattpad does the Just Write It challenge every single month. And all you got to do is go on the site. I believe it's in the Discover or the Community icon. And it's a little button that says Just Write It. You take the pledge, 10,000 words in 30 days. They give you a lot of encouragement all along the way. It's really, really fun to do. If you haven't participated in it, highly encourage you to do so. We know you can do it. That also takes us to the point of what's going on later in the week. I believe the Word Nerds are still off for their winter break, so hopefully they'll be coming back very soon in the next couple weeks. The Wattpad 4, they usually do their Twitter chats Mondays, tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you've never had a Wattpad for Twitter chat, they're awesome. And if you have tried a Wattpad for chat and you really like them and you wondered, why can't we do more things like this, check out the Watt Padres on Tuesday nights, same time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for some more chatting all about the writing process. It is amazing. So thank you so much for sharing your holiday with us. We're going to end a little bit early tonight, but we really, really enjoyed edition all about 2015 and what is to come for 2016. Ladies, if you'd please say good night.
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 Night.